The Galactic Council's historical archives labeled humanity as extinct approximately 400 cycles ago. I, Coordinator Venn of the Trellix Observatory Network, was the unfortunate individual assigned to verify this outdated classification. Spoiler alert, they were spectacularly, catastrophically wrong. Let me set the scene for you. There I was, sipping my morning stimulant, think coffee but purple, and it screams back at you, when the long-range sensors started having what I can only describe as a complete emotional breakdown. Red lights, blaring alarms, the works. My assistant, a nervous fellow named Kip, nearly launched himself through the ceiling panels. Coordinator, we have mass displacement signatures at the edge of the frontier zone. Kip's voice cracked like he was going through puberty again. I rolled my primary eyes. Kip, it's probably another asteroid cluster. Recalibrate the... Sir, these signatures are artificial. Ship drives. Hundreds of them. Now that got my attention. I abandoned my screaming beverage and rushed to the main display. What I saw there made my secondary stomach drop into my tertiary stomach. Ships. Thousands of them. And not just any ships. These were behemoths. Massive constructs that made our dreadnoughts look like decorative toys. They emerged from hyperspace with the casual confidence of apex predators who knew, absolutely knew, they owned whatever space they occupied. Get me a spectral analysis, I barked. Who are they? Ax Arlon Imperium. The Krell Dominion. Kip's manipulators danced across the interface, his movements frantic. Reading human biosignatures, sir. I laughed. Actually laughed. Kip, humans are extinct. Check your sensors. They're obviously malfunctioning. Sir, the database confirms. DNA markers match archived samples from Earth. They're human. The laughter died in my throat. That's impossible. We glassed their homeworld ourselves. The Council authorized the strike after they refused to surrender their weapons research. We watched their planet burn. Apparently, Kip said, his voice barely a whisper, we didn't watch carefully enough. The fleet began moving. And oh, what a sight that was. They didn't rush. They didn't hurry. They simply advanced with the inevitability of a cosmic event. Their formation was perfect, mathematical, beautiful in a terrifying sort of way. And then, as if to announce themselves properly, they did something that made every single observer in our network stop breathing. They turned off a star. Not destroyed it, not blew it up. They just turned it off, like flipping a switch. One moment, the star designated K774 was burning bright. The next, darkness, complete, utter darkness where a ball of fusion should have been. How? I couldn't even finish the sentence. The communication channels lit up. Every species, every government, every military installation in 3 sectors was screaming for answers. And then, cutting through the chaos like a blade through gel, came a transmission. Human language, clear as day, translated through our systems. Attention, Galactic Council and associated member species. This is Admiral Victoria Cross of the Terran Expeditionary Fleet. We've come home, and we have questions. Her voice was cold, professional. The kind of voice that promised absolutely nothing good for anyone who had wronged her people. 4 centuries ago, you declared war on humanity. You bombarded our homeworld. You burned our cities, killed billions of our people and declared us extinct. You were mistaken. Humanity doesn't die easily. We're resilient like that. Annoying, really. I could hear the smile in her voice. Not a happy smile. The kind of smile a predator makes right before it pounces. While you celebrated our extinction, we've been busy. See, you didn't know about our colony ships. The ones we launched before you attacked. The ones carrying millions of survivors, our best scientists, our entire cultural database, and here's the fun part, a really, really intense grudge. Kip was shaking. Actually shaking. Sir, what do we do? Shh, I hissed. I needed to hear this. We spent these centuries rebuilding, learning, advancing, and we discovered some fascinating things about stellar mechanics, about quantum manipulation, About weaponry that makes your antimatter torpedoes look like fireworks. That star we just extinguished. That's a warning, a demonstration. Because here's the thing, the pause felt eternal. We could do that to every star in Council space. We could plunge your worlds into frozen darkness, watch your civilizations crumble. But we're not monsters, we're just profoundly, deeply disappointed in you. Admiral Cross wasn't finished, not even close. So here's how this works. The Galactic Council will convene within 72 hours. You will answer for your crimes. You will explain why you felt justified in attempting genocide. And you will listen, very carefully, to our terms. Because the alternative, well, we've already shown you what we can do to stars. Imagine what we can do to planets. The transmission ended. Silence filled the observatory. The kind of silence that comes right before everyone simultaneously loses their minds. Kip finally found his voice. We're dead. We're so incredibly dead. Not yet, I muttered, already pulling up classified files. We need to know what we're dealing with. Pull every archived record on humanity. Everything. Their military capabilities before the bombardment, their technological level, their... Sir, I already did. According to our records, they barely had fusion drives. Their weapons were primitive railguns and chemical missiles. They hadn't even achieved reliable faster-than-light travel. I stared at the fleet on my display, ships that made physics weep. Technology that casually extinguished stars like candles. Well, clearly they've been studying hard. The next 72 hours were absolute madness. The Council joined emergency sessions. Military fleets mobilized. Panic spread across civilized space like a virus. And through it all, the human fleet just waited, hovering at the edge of Council territory. Patient, terrifying in their patience. I attended the Council session via HoloLink, watching from my observatory as representatives from 47 species gathered in the Grand Chamber. The atmosphere was somewhere between funeral and war council. Chancellor Drex of the Council opened proceedings with all the confidence of someone walking to their own execution. We acknowledge the presence of the Terran fleet. We request diplomatic negotiations to resolve this situation peacefully. Admiral Cross materialized as a hologram in the center of the chamber. Human. Female. With eyes that had seen too much and forgiven nothing. She wore a uniform that was equal parts military precision and artistic intimidation. Peacefully? She repeated the word like it tasted bad. That's rich coming from the government that dropped fusion warheads on our kindergartens. Drex's color shifted to a sickly gray. The Council's action was deemed necessary for galactic security. Your species was developing weapons technology that posed a threat to... Stop. Cross's voice could have frozen hydrogen. Don't insult us both by pretending this was about security. You attacked us because we were developing technology faster than you were comfortable with. Because we asked too many questions. Because we refused to accept your outdated laws limiting scientific advancement. She began pacing. Her hologram walking through the assembled representatives. You know what the funny part is? We weren't even working on weapons. We were researching stellar engineering. Ways to extend the life of dying stars. To save civilizations whose suns were fading. But you saw advanced physics research and immediately assumed the worst. A council member from the Vrix Collective spoke up. Your research notes mentioned military applications. We had intelligence. Cross laughed. Actually laughed. It echoed through the chamber like breaking glass. Of course our research mentioned military applications. Every technology has military applications. Fire can cook food or burn cities. Should we have stopped using fire? You refused council oversight. Another representative shouted. We refused to hand over our entire scientific database to a government that had already demonstrated hostility toward independent human development. Cross shot back. And you responded by trying to exterminate us. Congratulations. How did that work out for you? The chamber erupted in arguments. Accusations flying. Ancient grievances surfacing. Cross stood in the center of the chaos, completely calm, waiting. Finally, she raised her hand. Silence fell immediately. That scared me more than anything else. The sheer authority in that simple gesture. Here are our terms. Non-negotiable. First, the Council will issue a formal apology and acknowledgement of attempted genocide. Second, reparations will be paid. We'll provide a list. It's extensive. Third, humanity will receive a permanent seat on the Council with full veto power. Fourth, all restrictions on independent scientific research will be abolished for every species. And fifth, she smiled again. That predator smile. The Council members who authorize the attack on Earth will stand trial. Human courts, human laws, human justice. The chamber exploded again, shouting, threats, posturing. And through it all, I noticed something on my sensors. The human fleet had moved, just slightly, repositioning around key Council worlds. You can't seriously expect us to agree to this, Chancellor Drex roared. I don't expect anything, Cross replied calmly. I'm informing you of what will happen. You have 72 hours to begin compliance. For every hour you delay after that deadline, we select one star in Council space and turn it off, permanently. We'll start with uninhabited systems and work our way up. Your choice. She began to fade out, then paused. Oh, and one more thing. We found your surveillance probes, the ones you left in our system to verify our extinction. We've been feeding them fake data for centuries, showing you exactly what you wanted to see. A dead world, lifeless ruins, extinction confirmed. Turns out, we're pretty good at deception too. Learned from the best. The hologram vanished. The Council chamber descended into complete chaos, and I sat in my observatory, watching the human fleet, realizing something profound and absolutely terrifying. Humanity hadn't just survived. They'd evolved, become something harder, smarter, more dangerous than anything the galaxy had seen. We'd tried to extinguish them, and instead we'd forged them into something unstoppable. Kip looked at me, his expression a mixture of horror and awe. Sir, what do we do? I thought about those ships, that technology, that cold, patient fury. We accept their terms, I said quietly. All of them. Because the alternative isn't war, it's extinction. Our extinction this time. And somehow I don't think humanity will be as merciful as we were. The star we'd watched them extinguish remained dark. A permanent reminder that humans, when pushed far enough, don't just push back. They rewrite the entire game board,